Netcat tutorial that is going to be for Kali Linux. So Netcat is going to be the number 9 app that I'm going to be covering. Number 10 was Nmap. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about is in order to be able to use Netcat, and we're going to be doing it on VirtualBox, you will have to be able to set up everything. I'm going to show you how to set up everything, that way you don't have any issues. So the first thing you want to do over here under Kali Linux is you want to go to settings under VirtualBox and just make sure that some of these things do apply. So for example, the RAM is not that necessary. I did 1024, but you probably could do less than that. Some of the most important things you want to do is maybe give it 2 CPUs for the processors, but again, you can get away with just using 1, but if you can give 2, then go ahead and give that. As far as the display, maybe the video memory, we can max it out. Enable 3D acceleration, you might want to also do that. Enable video capture, that one is actually not required, so but if you do want to do it, you can do that. Storage, under the storage, if you see here, you make sure that you click on this deal here where it says use host IO cache. So make sure that's clicked, and finally on the network, we're gonna go ahead and start using the bridge adapter mode. And by default, it's gonna grab the network that you require. You just basically just click on bridge adapter, and that's it. So just make sure we have all this ready, and after that, just click OK, and there we go. And another thing is, in order to be able to use Netcat, we're gonna require another instance of VirtualBox. So one is gonna be Linux Mint that I'm gonna be using. So in order to be able to use that as well, we want to make sure that we have in Linux Mint we have Netcat installed, but also that we set up the same for Linux Mint. Same settings. We want to make sure that the network's under bridge adapter and all the other previous things that I covered. So once you have VirtualBox set up, we can go ahead and start using Netcat. So if you see here, this is Linux Mint here. So I'm gonna just type in NC, and as you see, it's showing Netcat. So make sure you have that installed. If you don't, you have to install it. Kali Linux already installed, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and get into the Kali Linux. So let's go ahead and run it as a live forensic mode. That's always the best way to use it, so that's what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, gotta make sure that I type in the password. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and log in as root, and then of course the password is gonna be root spelled backwards, so it's TOOR. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my notes so I can go ahead and start running the commands. But basically all you would do is you can open up the terminal. If you want to go to your applications manager and look at it that way, you can go to I believe it's under the easiest way to do it is just go to your terminal and just type in NC, but you can also run it as Netcat like that, so same thing. So okay, so the first thing we can do is we can run nc-help, and as you see, it'll give us all these commands. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is something very simple. We want to listen to a port, so we just type in nc, and then we're going to do tac or dash lvp. L is to listen, V is for verbose, and P of course is for the port. And then we're gonna give it any port that we want. It doesn't really matter. We can assign any number, but just make sure it doesn't create any issues. As of right now, I'm just gonna give it 80, but it could be anything. So as you see, it says here listening on any 80. So if we go to the other instance here on Linux Mint, and we use NC to connect to this one, we're gonna have to go over here and open up a terminal. If you already know your or actually I want just a tab. If you already know your IP, that's fine, but more than likely I'm not gonna be able to remember it, so just if config, and then there you go under inet. So we do 172.16.154, and then we want to say which port we are listening to, so it's gonna be 80. Okay, so that's it. Now, since if you see here it says connected, so it says this is the IP for this one for Kali Linux, and this one here is the the IP of the Linux Mint. So now if I type in here anything, so I'm gonna say hello there. As you see, it shows up in this one. If vice versa, if I type anything here, it's gonna show up over here. So you can set this up to be able to communicate with other computers through the terminal. So okay, so the next command we're gonna be using, this one's gonna be, say for example, if you want to record everything that's going on through your conversation. So we want to go ahead and throw that into a text editor, so that's what we're gonna do. So the easiest thing to do is we're gonna call it log, and I think I already have it, but we're just gonna go ahead and see if it's not gonna give any issues. So basically what you do is you type in nc-lvp port 80, but it can be any port, and then the greater than sign, and then the name of the file that you want. So it's gonna be log.txt, and that's it. So now if I go back into the Linux Mint and I run it, now if anything that I type, so hi, hello, and what's up, alright, and then if I go back in here, alright, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and disconnect from it. So now if I do an ls on the Kali Linux, if you see here there's a log.txt, and if I use nano for it, as you see, it saved everything that was communicated from this computer, not what was on from the Kali Linux. It only saved from the remote one. So if you see here is hi, hello, what's up, that's all. It didn't record what I typed on this terminal in Kali Linux, so just keep that in mind. But now it's saved, so you can save you know, the conversation that you're having with the remote computer. So okay, now one thing you can do, for example, if you don't want to be able to log the conversation from the actual listener, but you want to do it from the remote one, you can do it like this. So you can just connect, start listening on it, and then from, like, for example, from Linux Mint, I'm going to go ahead and connect, but I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to do nc and then the IP and then the greater than sign, and then I'm going to assign it to a file.txt. So now I'm going to start having the conversation. So hi, hello, and in this one I'm going to type in hey, and then hey, what's up. Okay, and then just go ahead and close it up. So now if I do an ls on here and do a nano and then file.txt, as you see here, it only gonna do whatever the remote one is saying. So in this instance, Kali Linux would be the remote one, because, you know, we only set to listen here, but on the on this Linux Mint, we set up the to be able to start logging whatever we wanted from Kali Linux. So hopefully that's not too confusing. So anyways, that's pretty much it. So you can do it vice versa, but always gotta keep in mind they're only gonna be logging only the information that is being typed from the remote service. So okay, so another thing we could do is we could go ahead and transfer a file or whatever's written on a file, or a copy basically. So the way to do that is we're gonna go ahead and fire up netcat, and then we're gonna do the same command, lvp 80, and then we want to give a name to that file we're gonna save. So I'm gonna name it file.txt, or since I already have that one, I'm just gonna call this one file2.txt. then I'm just gonna go ahead and start listening. So on this one here, on the Linux Mint computer, the way to do that is you're gonna log into the same way we've been logging into Kali Linux, and but we're gonna use this I guess it's the listen sign and then the name of the file. So but before I do that, I'm gonna open up another tab and I'm just gonna show you what's inside. So it's nano and then text stuff. So if you see here, it says hello nurse, how you doing, and I'm gonna say what's up. So I'm just gonna add this so you can see that it's working. Now I'm gonna go ahead and oh, permission denied. I have to gotta exit out of there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add something else. I'm gonna say howdy do, and then just save it, exit, and now go back over here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna transfer the file. I'm just gonna press enter, and as you see, it here on the under Kali Linux, it closed. So it looks like it didn't do it, but I'm just gonna do an ls now, and as you see, file2.txt exists, and I'm gonna go ahead and open it. So do file2.txt, and as you see, it saved it. So that's the easy way to go ahead and transfer files or information from a file to remotely to another one with using Netcat. Okay, so now one of the coolest ones is using the -e, and that's to make executable. So or to be able to run commands basically. So if you see here, we're gonna go ahead and do the -e and then do the bin bash. So bin and then bash to be able to access the shell. So okay, so now we're gonna press enter, and then in this one here, we're gonna go ahead and connect again. So in this one, all we have to do is make sure that we put the IP and then the port, and then press enter. So now if we run a command here like ls-a, so what you're seeing here on the Linux Mint is whatever is on this Kali Linux. So I'm accessing the Kali Linux terminal. So I'm gonna prove it to you by doing an ls-a over here. So if you see here, I have something called .profile, file.txt, file2.txt. Okay, so this one I just created not too long ago. So now let's go back over here, and if you see file2.txt showing, and if I do clear, and if I do a pwd, as you see, I'm under root, which of course I'm under root on Kali Linux. So that's pretty cool. Another thing we can do is we can actually create and run executables. So we can create something. I don't know if I have an executable ready. Looks like I don't. So just gonna create one real quick. Do a nano. I'm gonna call it run, and make sure we put in the shebang, and then bin bash, and then just something very simple like a uname -a. You can do something like that, and then just basically save that. Whoops. And then of course we gotta make it executable. So chmod +x and then run, and just make sure that it's, if it's like yellowish, what do they call this, not yellowish green, lime green. If it's lime green, that means it's executable. So now let's go ahead and run it from over here. So if we do run, oh wait a minute, no, we gotta do it like this. So as you see, it ran the executable. So now it's showing the distro information with the, basically if I would have typed in uname-a, so you can create scripts that can be run remotely. So that's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about it is that if I press Ctrl L, I can't clear the screen. I have to type in every single time clear. but that's not such a big deal. Okay, so another thing you could do with the NetCat is you could go ahead and do some port scanning. So the way to do that is you type in NC-C and then V for verbose and then the name of the website and then the range of the ports that you want to scan. So I want to do 22 through 100. So after that, just press enter, and as you see here, it's gonna go ahead and scan for any open ports on my website. So okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cancel it. It's acting kind of slow right now. I don't know why, but anyways, I'm just gonna cancel it because this is not the best way to do port scanning. If you want to do that, then Nmap is the best tool. So but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and close it up. You can do a couple more things with NetCat, like you could use it to do create a chat server and be able to allow others to chat, I guess, through that server. So I'm not gonna cover that in this tutorial. I might cover it later on, but that's pretty much it for this one. So still haven't decided which one's gonna be number 8. I was thinking about maybe covering Dimitri and what was the other one? There was Dimitri and there was another one called Fears, which I'm still working on both of them, trying to see which one is gonna be number 8. So but it could be either Dimitri or Fears. I'm leaning more towards Fears, but anyways, I'm gonna decide on that a little bit later, but that's it for now. Bye.